have a special portion of the show today.
Very special portion.
Specifically because it is what today, Coach?
Today, well, just to be specific, it is at time of recording Thursday, April 24th, which all of our NFL fans know it's round one of the draft day, baby.
It's draft day, baby! And we are moving on to the halftime predictions! Man. All right, Coach. We've been waiting for this for a nice little minute. We've been holding off and being anxious. We've had anxiety attacks about talking about this because we've been waiting till the actual day to discuss this. And now it has finally arrived. Draft day is upon us, at least for the first round. I don't think they do the first and second round today. I just think they do round one only. The Chicago Bears have the 10th pick in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. You are on the clock, Coach. That was a terrible sound that I made, but it's okay. We're going to rock and roll with it.
Okay.
What do the Bears do today with the 10th pick? And we can have fun with this because there has been a lot of things percolating, a lot of rumors, a lot of things said. The Bears could stay put and stay at 10. The Bears could trade up and try to get some type of player that they feel is generational or blue chip. The Bears could even trade down because there are teams that want to move up to 10 potentially, and they could get more assets and do things like that. If you are the Chicago Bears and you are Ryan Poles and you have spent the formidable part of the early free agency getting your linemen, your guards, your center, you've added some serviceable tight ends just for certain things and serviceable wide receivers just for speed purposes and things like that. You've fixed the glaring hole that most Bears fans would say existed. You've brought in the top of the line coaching staff. This looks like the coaching staff that you would pay for on Madden when you want to get the best of the best of the best of the best in every single position. You've done it all already as much as possible. You've been knocking everything out the park. Home run after home run after home run. What are you doing come the draft? And I'm going to say, to start off, I think, and I don't think at the same time, that the Bears are going to go into this draft anticipating doing anything, right? I don't think they're going to come in predetermined to make a move. I think what happens 1, 2, and 3 is going to determine what the Bears actually do. They're going to wait. I don't think they're going to do anything before the draft starts.
So here's my thing, right? I don't think they do anything before the draft starts because you lose leverage by doing that, of course. But here's the thing. I've heard rumors. A little birdie told me.
Okay. He's heard rumors. All Rumor right. Has it.
And they are confirmed rumors. They are confirmed. The Chicago Bears have been on the phone with the New York Giants trying to trade up to number 3, and we already know who they would want to take at that third pick.
And who is it that you think they're trying to get at the third pick?
It'd be Abdul Carter, Coach. And let me tell you, if the Bears were to pull off that trade, it would take a good amount because you're moving from 10 to 3 and you're drafting a blue chip prospect and an absolute superstar that will be Abdul Carter. But in my opinion, it's very worth it. Now, I've also heard rumors that the Bears are also in the running for trading up to 5 through 8. All right, that's also a very good possibility or a very possible outcome. I'm just going to say this before I continue any further. You asked me if I'm Ryan Poles, pick 10, we're on the clock. I think that's false. I don't think the Bears are on the clock at pick 10. We're either on the clock before or we're on the clock after. I'm telling you, the Bears are not staying put at their pick this year. We are either moving up, which I think is the more likely thing to happen, whether it's going to be all the way to 3, which is going to be a very hefty price, or we move to 5 and 8. I think we come out of this draft, we're targeting 2 guys. if certain things happen. We are either targeting Abdul Carter at 3 or anywhere between 4 through, I want to say 7. People are saying like 5 through 8. I'm going to say 4 through 7 because I think depending on what happens 1 through 3, New England might opt to move back in the draft. It's for the Bears, first round selection is either going to be Abdul Carter or Ashton Genty. It's one or the other. I do not see a world in which the Chicago Bears remain at pick 10 or move up to pick 8 and take a Will Campbell or a Kelvin Banks or anyone or Membu or Armand and Membu out of Missouri. It's going to be one of those two players, I believe. I don't think necessarily they're going to move down unless they could get a substantial amount of draft capital. I'm sure they would maybe like some future draft capital as well, but just seeing how Ryan Poles is constructing the team right now, along with the contract extensions that have gone on, I think Tooney is going to get his extension very soon as well.
Okay.
And we've seen the contracts of Jonah Jackson and Kyler Gordon and even TJ Edwards getting an extension. This team is being built to win now between 2 to 3 years.
It's being built on Caleb's rookie contract.
This is the window. And in order to do that, you need to take one of the blue chip prospects in the draft. I don't think you're banking on reserving some draft capital for later purposes.
So you're not believing that they're gonna wait around for Will Campbell?
No.
You don't think they're moving up to get Will Campbell?
No, because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because if we move up, I'm telling you, it's for one of two players. The only way we move up, watch, and I think, and what I've heard, and my source have told me that the Bears and the Patriots have been very, very close in phone calls as of recent, and depending on what happens, pick 1 through 3, that will determine if New England makes that trade with the Bears. Apparently, there's a deal in place with the Bears and the Patriots, but it is all dependent and determining what happens pick 1 through 3.
Basically, it all depends on who's available at 4.
Yep. And if whoever they wanted at 4
is still there,
is still there, they're taking their guy.
Then New England is taking their guy.
And if he's not there, they're gonna trade with the Bears. And at pick 4, the Bears are taking Ashton Genty. I'm telling you right now, that is the pick at 4 because Abdul Carter will not be there. I don't think so.
Now, just going to the mock simulator because I went to PFF mock simulator. It's saying that for that 3 pick that you were saying that the New York Giants have, the Bears could give them the number 10 pick and a second round 41 overall pick in this year's draft, and then a second rounder from 2027, and that trade will be accepted. We get the number 3 pick, and the Giants get number 10, 41 for this year, and then a second round pick from 2027.
I like that if I'm the Bears. I'm not accepting that if I'm the Giants. I'll tell you why. If I'm the Giants, I am demanding that 2027 second round pick becomes a 2026 first round pick because the Giants know what player they can take at 3. Everybody in the league, there is no secret. Abdul Carter is going to be a superstar in this league. He is probably the most guaranteed star in this entire draft.
Why? Okay, so here's my thing about Abdul Carter. They compare him to Michael Parsons, who, love him or hate him, has been productive, but he hasn't been game-changing. And we can say the same thing about Myles Garrett. Absolutely fucking not do you go up in the draft to draft Ashton Genty. That shit right there is complete bullshit.
So you don't think we move up to like 4 through 7
No, I
and
think
take
they
Genty?
will do it. I just think it's the dumbest fucking thing that they could do.
Really? Okay.
I don't think that that's a smart decision at all. You don't move up in the draft to draft a fucking running back. It isn't Walter Payton. This isn't Barry Sanders that you're drafting.
I get you. Just one rebuttal to that real quick. Detroit did the same thing 2 years ago to move up and get Jahmyr Gibbs. The motherfucker is productive as hell.
Yeah, but he ain't Barry Sanders.
Yeah, okay, but nobody's saying he has to be. And
you do if you're drafting somebody that high.
I don't think so.
They have to be a Hall of Fame running back.
I don't think so because Jahmyr Gibbs got drafted really high as well.
But he didn't get drafted top 3.
I'm not saying they move top 3 though.
You said if they get to top 4 and they make a deal with New England that they're getting Gentry at 4.
I don't think necessarily that's the best move to make. I just think it's the move they're going to make.
Right. That's
you know what I'm saying?
But that's my argument.
Yeah.
My argument is they might do that. I'm saying it's stupid as fuck.
And people I've seen on Bears Twitter are saying like, yeah, absolutely, we should do that, and it makes sense, and even
it makes no sense.
And even the PFF Draft Simulator gives it a good grade for drafting them that
no,
early.
Because
but
you
here's the argument for it is because, again, if we're just going to talk about blue chip prospects, right, there's about 3 to 4 guys in this draft that you could pretty much guarantee when they come into the league, they're going to make an immediate impact. Who are those guys? It's Abdul Carter, it's Ashton Gentry, and it's Tyler Warren. Those are your 3 guys. Everybody else, you are taking a wild guess. Cam Ward, Lord knows what he's going to do because I'm telling you, he's going to Tennessee. He's the number 1 pick. There's no doubt in my mind. Will Campbell, is he actually going to be able to perform at the pro level? Lord knows because of his arm length, right? He may struggle because you're actually competing against grown men, right? It's not college athletes. It's grown men that have way more physical advantages than you do. You look at some of these other guys, right? I mean, M'Boue, there's questions about him at playing the tackle position.
Yeah.
There's no solidified, like, actual left tackle, like, starting stud left tackle that I think a lot of these teams believe in, because if they did, everybody and their mama would be trying to get Will Campbell right now, but they're not.
Yeah, I mean, but I've argued that the whole time that I didn't, that I didn't think that there was somebody that was just like this.
Absolutely,
no, I've been saying that from the jump. That's why when people were high on the whole Will Campbell train, I was just kind of like,
I was only high on it because if we were to, this was at a time when I thought we were just going to remain at 10.
Yeah, if he falls to you, then fine. You know what
absolutely,
I'm saying?
I'd be fine with it.
You take the best prospect available at 10, but my whole thing was just like, I wasn't in any rush or I wasn't compelled to make any type of moves to go and get Will Campbell, to go and get M'Boue, to go and get Jonathan Simmons, to get Kelvin Banks. They're not moving the needle for me.
No.
They're not like Jonathan Ogden or somebody like that.
Exactly.
Somebody that you look at and say, oh, this is a Hall of Fame left tackle. We have to get this, right?
Yeah.
It's not like that. But really quickly, we show what the number 3 pick would take. It would take our 10 pick, a second rounder from 2027, and then the 41 overall pick to move up to 3 for the Giants.
Okay.
But I got another trade that the Bears could also make. They can make a trade with Minnesota. Minnesota's 24 pick in 2025. We give up our other second round pick, the 39 from Carolina, and we give up a second round pick in 2026. And we do that for the 24 overall pick. So we walk away in this draft with the number 3 and the number 24 pick. All right. So let me just start this little simulator on this draft and see what happens. Right. So we start the draft. First on the clock, Cam Ward goes to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Second, Travis Hunter goes to Cleveland.
Well, then you already know who you're taking.
So now I'm taking Abdul Carter.
Of course.
Right? I'm taking Ashton Gentry. Fuck. I'm taking Abdul Carter. So I take Abdul Carter. All right, so we get Abdul Carter number 3. The Patriots take wide receiver Teatro McMillan. Shedeur Sanders doesn't get drafted. The Giants ended up taking Ashton Gentry at number 10. So that's interesting.
Yep.
I don't understand why they would do that. I don't get that. Shedeur goes to Pittsburgh, like I have been saying for the longest of time.
To me, it's either he goes to Cleveland or he goes to Pittsburgh. It's one or the other.
Now, this is who I think the Bears can pick up that's going to be just as good as Ashton Gentry in the NFL. Omarion Hampton from North Carolina.
Okay.
At 24, we get Omarion Hampton. So we move up to get Abdul Carter. We make whatever deal we have to get Abdul, and then we move back into the draft later on at the lower end of the first round to get Omarion Hampton. And so we walk out of there basically with Abdul Carter. And here's my grading for this draft. I received the A+ for Abdul Carter and a B for Omarion Hampton at 24, which gave me an overall grade of A- for this draft. And you walk out of there with them saying, based upon this PFF projection, that a better pick at 24 could have been Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia.
Sure, yeah.
But we don't need that.
They just go off of rankings.
But they just going off rankings,
yeah.
But if you look at it realistically, if you walk away still with your running back and Abdul Carter, fuck Ashton Genty.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
I think that's the best thing for them to do.
I just think the most blasphemous statement I heard from you was that Omarion Hampton is as good of a running back as Ashton Genty, because he's not.
He is. He will be in the NFL.
No,
he probably wasn't in college, but he will be in the NFL.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Just watching his film at North Carolina, he doesn't hit the gaps as fast as Ashton Genty does. He doesn't have breakaway speed like Ashton Genty does.
But he also didn't have the offensive line that Ashton Genty had.
Agreed, and he also, respectively, maybe competition level.
And he played in a tougher conference.
Sure, okay. Granted, but I'm just saying from what I saw, when blocking was fine and Omarion Hampton could have made certain plays that he did not. In the passing game, they're roughly equal. Ashton Genty is a solid receiving back, so is Omarion Hampton.
Yep.
Right. My main takeaway is that Ashton Genty is able to find the gap and find the hole and hit it a lot faster than Omarion Hampton, and we know that time to react is a lot faster in the NFL, and that's what's going to make Ashton Genty give him a lot more separation from Omarion Hampton and the rest of these backs.
But let me ask you this: we're talking about productivity in this first round, right? We're arguing productivity within the first round. If you walk out of this first round with Abdul Carter and Omarion
I'm happy
Hampton,
as fuck.
But here's my thing. If you walk out of this draft with Ashton Genty, you most likely didn't do what it took to get Abdul Carter. There's a world where you can do what it takes to get Abdul and Omarion, but there's no world where you get Abdul and Ashton.
So, what I think would be, I just think the Bears don't make two trades in the first round. They're making one trade to move up, and that's it.
It would be senseless for them not to make. It would be senseless for me, in my opinion. It would be dumb for them not to move off the few little bit of draft capital that they have. If you're going all in, go all in, right? It would be dumb to me for them not to take advantage of the opportunity that's in front of them to get into this first round a few times when all you're giving up is draft capital for the most part that isn't that much. You don't give up any future first round picks. All you're really changing is your 10, your 39, 41, and second round.
You would have to for Abdul Carter though.
No, I don't think for the Giants you have to give them a first round. You can probably get away with a second and a fourth, your 10th overall and the 41 pick in this year's draft. You could get away with that.
I mean, maybe, maybe I'm just thinking of years prior, like what it's taken to move up in the draft. But I've also read, kind of this is catering to your point on your status of what it would take. Like I have seen that apparently the cost to move up this draft is like 70 cents on the dollar, meaning it's going to be a lower cost than ever to actually, move up in the draft, because a lot of these teams are actually willing to move down because that's how deep this draft is. And for a lot of these teams to move down to like 10 or 15, there's not that much separation between the guys that could go top 3. Like, of course, the top 3, they're in their own realm. But if you're talking about picks like 5 through like 20 even, there's not a lot of separation between them.
That's why I am saying that if you walk out of this with Abdul and Omarion, that's the winning formula. You don't sacrifice this draft for fucking Ashton Genty. I'm sorry. If you walk out of this draft saying that Ashton
Coach,
Genty,
something tells me you're gonna be
I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be furious.
Yeah.
If you walk out of this fucking draft telling me that your big fucking swing was for Ashton fucking Genty, I promise you, the Bears are stupid. They've done everything that they possibly can to fuck this season by drafting that kid.
Okay, all right. Well,
I'm on record saying it. If you spend this draft and your capital and the expenses that you have to draft fucking Ashton Genty, when you can potentially walk out of this draft with Abdul Carter and Omarion Hampton servicing two needs at the same time, That would be ignorance on their part to forego an opportunity to get Omarion and Abdul Carter just to end up with fucking Ashton Genty.
That's a very bold thing to say. I don't necessarily disagree with you, I'm just gonna say that. But I do like to take.
He ain't Walter Payton. This is you're not drafting Walter Payton. You're not drafting any of those guys. This is not Adrian Peterson coming out. This isn't Derrick Henry coming out. He played at Boise fucking State, people. Let's keep reminding people where he came from. He ain't coming from Bama. This ain't the fucking Miami Hurricanes. This ain't that. This ain't the Florida Gators. This ain't nothing like that. He played at Boise fucking State. I keep trying to harp and tell people, where you play football in college makes a difference. That's why playing in the SEC is such a big goddamn deal, because it's the closest thing to being a professional in college sports. Yeah, that conference is tough as hell.
SEC or Big Ten, same. Yeah, well, one of those two.
SEC and Big Ten.
Yeah,
he played at Boise State again. It ain't that. I know it looked good. It looks shiny and it looks great. He ain't that. I'm telling you. You get Abdul Carter, whatever it takes to get Abdul. You move to number 3 to get him, because you know he ain't falling no further than that. So you get to number 3 with the Giants, if you can. Hell, if you can get to number 2 with Cleveland to make sure you can get Abdul Carter, because there's no guarantee that you got to make the trade with New York. You could probably make a better trade with Cleveland. I'm not sure. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. It all depends.
I think Cleveland
it all depends on who they really want. Maybe they don't want to move out that spot because they really have their eyes locked in on Travis Hunter or somebody, or whoever, or Mason Graham, or I don't know.
You know what I've seen in days recent, even from you know who released his mock draft the other day and is like one of the most accurate mock drafters in the NFL, Peter Schrager.
And what did he say?
He actually has the Bears moving back to about pick 14 with, I think it's like the Colts or somebody. Mm-hmm. I don't remember who he has taken us. But what I found more notable is he had 4 quarterbacks going in the first round. He had
Jalen Milroe.
He had Cam Ward. He had Shedeur Sanders going to the Browns.
Really?
I believe that's what was in his mock draft, but I know he had 4 quarterbacks going. He had Jackson Dart going very high as well.
Jackson Dart is from what? Ole Miss.
And he had Jalen Milroe as well.
From Alabama. Where does he go?
I forget where, but again, those four guys in the first round.
And again, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened either.
So I'm saying, like, I think it's very, very possible. Like, people have kind of written it off and saying, like, oh, maybe Shedeur ends up in Pittsburgh and shit like that. Like, maybe that is what happens.
And there's no guarantee, and I keep trying to tell people, it's no guarantee that Cam Ward goes to Tennessee.
No, at this point it is. He's number one. He's number
anything
one.
can happen on draft night. It's not a guarantee.
It's very true that anything can happen on draft night, but with Cam Ward, he's going to be the number 1 selection.
But
Tennessee needs a quarterback.
But let's stick it on the Bears.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that I think it's very notable that I think people keep forgetting that it's a very possible thing that Shedeur goes to Cleveland. I know people keep talking about his daddy and that he's not going to let him go to Cleveland. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think this is a Eli Manning case. I think that Shedeur would go there and he would try to turn around the franchise, essentially. I don't want to sit here and create narratives, but I'm saying that trade to number 3 looks a lot more easier to make because you don't have to worry about necessarily
the stress of a quarterback.
Exactly. Like, you're trading up because you know you're going to get a Bill Carter, and it's like that is what.
And the Giants have Russell and Jameis Winston, so they can afford a gap year.
And I am hoping and praying, like, on everything I love and everything that I believe in, that we make this trade today to get Abdul Carter, because I'm telling you, that will be one of the best trades the Chicago Bears will ever make as a franchise, is to move up to get Abdul Carter. And you know what? Even if they have to give up a 2026 first-round pick, and this year they give up pick 10 and pick 41, I'm cool with that. Even if they have to give up another future, like, day 3 pick in, like, 2027, I'm cool with that. That is fine with me, because if you are to get Abdul Carter, he's a franchise-changing player. He truly is. And whoever does end up getting him will reap the benefits very, very soon in this first year. He's going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year, no doubt in my mind. He's going to be in conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. I have really, really high expectations for Abdul Carter because I truly believe he's legit.
Yeah. I think if you're asking what player in this draft can come right into the league and probably make noise
It's
right
him.
away,
It's him.
I would argue that it would be Abdul Carter. But ultimately, what I'm saying is, in no fucking world do you make a deal to walk around waiting on Ashton fucking Genty. I am not under. If Ryan Poles does that, then he has undermined every single thing that he's done this offseason, single-handedly with this one move. If you go get Ashton Genty, then you have failed this entire offseason plan.
Can you do one thing for me?
Yeah.
Can you go on that draft simulator, reset it, choose the Bears,
Mm-hmm.
and then could you trade with the Vegas Raiders?
Okay, you want me to trade with the Vegas Raiders?
So they're
Where
pick
they
6,
at?
right?
Number 6, yeah.
Can you give them our 10th pick?
For the 6 straight up?
No.
No, that doesn't work.
Just hear me out. Can you give them pick number 72, our 3rd round pick?
Mm-hmm.
And then could you give them a future?
No, that works. 10 and 72 will work.
If you do that to get Ashton Genty, I'm cool with that. If you do that to get Ashton Genty, I'm cool with that.
No.
You see what I? Yes, because
No.
listen, but hear me out. You're moving up 4 spots,
Nope.
and all you're giving up is an additional 3rd round pick. I'm doing that in a fucking heartbeat.
I don't want him.
And that's fine, but I'm saying, like, compared to everybody else that is available in that top 10, Ashton Genty clears all of them. He's like one of the only blue chip prospects that's truly available.
Here's the crazy part.
It's 3 guys. In my opinion, it's 3 guys that come into the league and make an impact.
Listen to this. Here's the crazy part. In this draft simulator, Ashton Genty isn't available at 6.
Yeah, where does he go? 5?
Nope. He goes 4 to New England.
That's also a very possible thing.
And Abdul Carter goes 3 to New York.
That's very.
So you end up with Cam Ward.
Well.
You end up with Cam Ward as 1, Travis Hunter as 2, Abdul Carter as 3. New England gets Ashton Genty at 4. Mason Graham goes to Jacksonville at 5. And so we're left basically with the best product being Tetairoa McMillan, the wide receiver.
See, I think,
or Will Campbell.
So if I were to do just my mock draft off the top of my head right now on how I think this top 10 is going to go, or let's just say top 7, whatever, right? Cam Ward's going 1, in my opinion. I think at 2, I think Cleveland takes Shedeur.
He's not going to Cleveland, coach.
Okay, even if he doesn't, they take Travis Hunter.
That's fine.
Cool. 3, whoever it is, they take Abdul Carter.
Okay.
All right. At 4, New England.
It's taking Ashton Genty.
I think it's possible they take Ashton Genty.
Or who they take, McMillan?
What I think is more likely and what is actually going to, it's either going to be McMillan or it's going to be Will Campbell. It's going to be one of those two because they want to solidify the offensive line. So
let's say McMillan goes 4, or let's say Will Campbell goes 4.
Will Campbell goes 4.
So 5, you got Jacksonville.
They're taking McMillan. They got Liam Cohen. They got the new GM. They're going to want offense. So then
6, you got the Raiders.
The Raiders. Who do they take? Who else is left? They might take Genty at that point, or they take Membu. They take Armand Membu.
Oh, okay. So you got that's a nice pick for them. The Jets. You know what? I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they might take that tight end. I think they might take Tyler Warren to give more help
I don't think he goes at 5. I think if anything,
that'd be 6. That'd be 6 because Jacksonville. No, you know what? 5. Jacksonville takes Mason Graham. I think that's who they take at 5.
I think that's probably the least likely pick for them because that's where he's been projected to go.
And then the Raiders, what? They take a safety. They go defense.
No, so I think if McMillan goes 5,
if McMillan goes 4. No,
but what I was saying, right?
You're saying McMillan goes 5.
Will Campbell goes 4, McMillan goes 5. At 6, I got Vegas taking Mason Graham because they want to solidify their defensive line.
So then the Jets, they take a tight end? They take Tyler Warren?
The Jets could take Tyler Warren. They go help out Justin Fields some more.
And then 8, you got Carolina. What do they take? A tackle?
They take the best defensive end on the market. They take probably what's his name? Mike Green, yeah.
Okay. Then you got the Saints.
They take... They might F, bro. I'm telling you, they might be the ones that F around and take. They could take Shedeur or they take Jackson Dart. It's one of those two, I think.
Okay, and then at 10, you got the Bears now.
Then you take Genty.
You think Genty will fall all the way to 10?
I don't think so. That'd be my ideal thing if nothing were to happen. But
look,
that is very possible.
I'll say this: if he lands to us at 10 and we stay put, fine, take the kid. take him at that point.
But you wouldn't even be a
I'm
fan
not.
of...
Cons-
okay.
I'm not.
All right.
I'm not considering.
Fair.
I'm not considering moving up to draft this kid.
And I'll
not one bit.
The only trade up I want to make is to go up and get Abdul Carter. I just want to make that clear. That's the only deal I want to happen.
I want to get Abdul Carter. Get Abdul Carter. Do what you can to get him.
And you know what? Even if we don't get Omarion Hampton, even if that second trade doesn't happen back into the first round, I'm fine with taking Trayvon Henderson in the second with pick 39. He's a solid back. He's a very solid back out of Ohio
and
State.
I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
I would still try to shoot for Omarion because let's see. Let me do this. Let me go back and let me just start the draft. Let me see. I'll pick McMillan just really quickly. Let's see if Omarion Hampton will even fall that far.
Yep.
Let's see if he'll even fall that far. I just want to see real quick. All right. Let's just see.
He probably goes late 20s, I believe. 20s.
I'm going to just stay at 10 and start the draft. Okay, so...
Yeah, just let it fast forward. Pick whoever.
Ashton Jeanty went to number 2. So right now, the best player that we can pick is between Walter Nolan, the defensive interior player from Mississippi, Malachi Starks, or Mike Green.
Just take Starks.
I'm going to take Starks.
Let's just see where Hampton goes.
Let's see if Hampton goes in the first round. And... yeah, he'll end up going in the first round. According to this, Green Bay gets him at 23.
Yeah, I don't know if they take him at 23, but regardless, he'll go somewhere in the 20s.
It looks like he's a first round prospect in the later round of the first round. So
regardless,
if we want to get Omarion, he's there for us. If we're willing to get back into the later part in the first round. Yeah. So you can there is a world where you can walk away with Abdul and Omarion.
And if
you're Ryan Poles,
very nice.
That's how you fucking do things on draft night.
We'll see.
Not sitting around and doing shit for fucking Ashton Jeanty. Right. But that's my thoughts.
Yeah,
Those are my predictions. My prediction is the Bears walk away with Abdul Carter and Omarion Hampton.
What I want to happen is that we take Abdul Carter, but what I think is going to happen is that we trade up and get Ashton Jeanty. That's my prediction. Not that I want it to happen, that's my prediction.
Coach, you just want to ruin my fucking Thursday.
I'm sorry, man, but I'm just trying to be a realist.
All right, that has been the halftime predictions, and that has been a great episode 30, Coach.
Yes, sir.
I just want to remind everybody to like and subscribe to all of our pages. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe. Our Patreon is doing pretty okay, right?
Yes, sir. We got episodes on there. We got another one coming out this Sunday.
Come on, man. Come on.
We're looking good.
Come on, people. We rocking and rolling.
Yes, sir.
We on all your streaming platforms for podcasts as well. We got Apple. We got Spotify. We got Amazon. So look, we're everywhere you need us to be. Why? Because we are the best sports coverage on all digital platforms. It's the Halftime Podcast, baby.
Yes, sir.
So again, like us, follow us. We got things coming down the pipeline. We're excited about everything that we're coming up with and doing. If you got ideas for the show, again, we want to remind people, send in products that we can put on the wall, send in pictures, posters, all those things, and we can shout you out. We can help it make part of our setup up here. We're always interested in that. So yeah, do that. We'll love to give you a shout out. We'll love to display your art or anything that you have, especially if it's sports related. So keep that in mind. Anything you want to add, Coach?
Nah, man, I'm all good. I'm excited to see what happens tonight. And
don't fuck this day up for me with that prediction, Coach.
We'll see,
don't fuck this up for me.
I'm just trying
all right, it's been another episode of the Halftime Podcast. I'm Coach Malcolm.
I'm Coach Conrad.
And as always, you know how it goes. See red and bear down, baby.